Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Speechcraft workshop. This workshop is going to be a deep dive, in-depth workshop given by our prestigious guest, Annie Golden. But before we get started, I would like to let you know that this workshop is being recorded. And if anything, to prevent noise in the background, to keep muted unless you're speaking. She will be Anne will be monitoring the chat because I'm not good at that. And trying to focus with everything else. I am not techie. So Anne will be monitoring the chat so that you can ask all your questions. And I guess she will come off mute whenever you have questions per her guidance. So we will follow her instruction as we go. Anne's instruction. I need to stop saying her, she, and so forth. Anyway, I thank you all for coming. This is a continuous workshop. This is a continual district leader educational program that we're trying to put on for the deck members. As we go forward, there will be more. But thank you for showing up for this first one. Okay, I would like to now introduce you to our, I'm putting on glasses upon glasses. I would like to now introduce you to our speaker, our presenter, distinguished Toastmaster Anne Golden. She has been a member of Toastmasters since June 2015, achieving several awards for her successful leadership and devotion to helping other Toastmasters in District 38. She was previously Toastmaster of the Year. She held several office positions in her clubs and served District 38 leadership as the division director, area director, administration manager, and training coordinator. She's currently District 38 Speechcraft Coordinator and Masterclass Coordinator. She's knowledgeable in the Pathway Educational Program, completing 7 paths. Woo-hoo! She is a Toastmaster enthusiast indeed. Give a round of applause and please welcome Anne Golden. Come on, camera people, come on camera, let's hear it. Come on,
Thank you all. Thank you for that awesome introduction, Madam District Director Anne Marie. Good morning, everyone. I hope you're as excited as I am. And I am honored to have each and every one of you here today. The agenda for today will go as follows. There will be no presentation because I find showing you live and being interactive works better on something like this. I'm going to initially review how you go about purchasing the bundle, what is involved in that, and some legal information about the bundle, and explain that. And then I'll have a question and answer portion there following that to make sure you understand the process that's involved in that. Next, I will go into planning and organizing the Speechcraft. And actually, the planning will be in 2 parts. One will be the pre-planning that you need to do. And then the second part of the planning will be covered when I go into the Speechcraft portal, because that is how that is broken up. And then I'll have a Q&A after that. I'll discuss the coordinator responsibilities and where you can get your resources. Stop at that point, make sure you understand, have a Q&A. Finally, it's a pre-recorded, and I'll explain that later, of how you access the Speechcraft portal. And the reason that is pre-recorded. And then at the end, I'm going to ask for a survey. You will help me by answering those questions on the survey, help me to improve my presentation skills, but also, did I cover enough material? Did you learn enough from it? And what did I leave out? Is there something that you would like to know further? So let's begin with the purchasing of the Speechcraft initially and what you need to know. First of all, the Speechcraft must be sponsored by a club, a district, an area, a division director. They cannot sponsor the Speechcraft sessions. It must be done at the club level. If you are an area director or a division director, you can sponsor it at your club level. That's where it must be because the club must sponsor it. All right. And the member who is coordinating the Speechcraft event has to get approval from their club. You can go to your VPE or you go to your executive board and say, I want to conduct a Speechcraft workshop. And the reason for that is because the idea of the workshop is to bring members into your club, to increase your membership. So it's very important that your club is on board with it. And your club gets kudos of marketing because on the agenda, you say it's from your club. You use your club agenda letterhead for the Speechcraft agendas. So you're marketing your club as being the sponsoring club. So I want to cover that out initially, and then we're going to go into the portal to show you where you can purchase it. So let me open that up and then do my share. All right, can you see that where it says welcome to Speechcraft? All right, so I'm going to go over here. This is the Toastmasters website. Now I signed in. You don't have to be signed in to see this. Where you would go is education programs, and then you're going to click on Speechcraft to get to this screen. This is a very important video that you should listen to preview before you even consider going into the Speechcraft itself. The reason why I showed this is because if you come right here, you can buy this will take you right to buy the digital bundle. Also, you can enter the gateway from this website page. And also down here are 3 important resources for you. Now, I have a resource handout that I'm going to provide in the chat for everyone. I can get your emails from the registration from Madam District Director here, and I can send you the handout via the email as well. And this is very important, the speech content overview, the Speechcraft frequently asked questions. And it also tells you about how the speech crafters can gain credit for pathways on their speeches that they completed. But that's not what I'm going to go over at this point, those resources. I just want to show you all the information that's available on this particular page. I'm going to click Buy Digital Bundle. Can everybody see this? This is from the store, the Toastmasters website. And this is really important. The bundle that you purchase is for $50. You need to know that it's only for 5 participants. If you have additional people who are interested in being part of the Speechcraft bundle, Speechcraft workshop, you have to buy an additional bundle. It comes in a package of 5. Look at it that way. 5 slots are available for each purchase of the bundle. It's recommended that you fill those slots. Don't purchase another bundle if you only have 1 additional participant. Try to recruit more because the unused slots, you are not reimbursed for them at all. I want to let you know that you're not reimbursed for that at all. So it's important that you have 5 people. What the bundle includes, what's important once you make the purchase is to save that email notification that gives you your order number. You need that order number to enter into the Speechcraft portal to set up your event. That's your access code to the Speechcraft portal. So it's very important that you save that email and that order number so that you can set up your Speechcraft on the portal. The person who purchased portal is the default speech coordinator generally. Now, when you do it at the club level, a club can decide to purchase the bundle if they so wish. And at that point, the club could decide who the Speechcraft coordinator is. But you as a member of that club can go to your committee and say, you want to conduct this because you need this for your DTM. You're going to purchase the bundle. You can purchase it. We'll get into who pays for what in a little bit, but the person purchasing the bundle would be the Speechcraft coordinator. It is recommended that if you have more than 8 people in a Speechcraft, that you have 2 coordinators. And that is a great recommendation. I recently completed a Speechcraft for a nonprofit organization called the Aurora Lee Cancer Research Foundation, and I had 10 members initially. And I was the coordinator for both because we conducted it as one session. There's a lot of work involved as a coordinator, so therefore it would be good if you could get 2 coordinators, but they have to be from the same sponsoring club. You cannot get a coordinator outside of your club. It has to be from the sponsoring club because this is all centered around club sponsoring. The legal information that I want to put out for you is that it's right here, is that you will conduct the Speechcraft in accordance to these policies: Protocol 4.0, Policy 4.0, Protocol 5.0, and Protocol 8.2. The important part about the policy for 4.0 is the branding of the Speechcraft. This is top secret information out there. You can't find anything on the internet about what materials are being used within the Speechcraft portal or how to do it. Toastmasters International, as the Speechcraft coordinator, you can use those materials and download them and create presentations for use during the workshop that you are conducting. But you are not allowed to share that information that you reproduced with others. You must only use it within the session for your purpose of conducting the sessions. That's it. That is why I pre-recorded, when I had access to the portal, how to move around in the portal. I didn't reproduce their information. I'm actually showing you from when I had access. I cannot give you any slides that I produced to help me as a coordinator or anything like that. So that's why I want to share my knowledge with my fellow Toastmasters so that you understand what you are going to be involved in as the Speechcraft coordinator. There is a lot of work and time involved that you need to dedicate to this to be able to be successful. So I want to show you the legal information here that you need to be aware of and what protocol. Let's see what this one is. Yes, Protocol 8.2 is about fundraising. And you can use the Speechcraft for fundraising. And what I mean by that is who pays for the bundle, right? You initially put the money out, but you want the Speechcrafters to have money in the game, so to speak. You want them to be invested and to be serious about it. So you can charge them. Now, I did not. I only charged them the cost of the bundle. But you want to bring these people in as members. So you can charge them a 6-month membership fee, plus any cost of materials that you are going to put out. To understand that, in other words, you can increase your membership base for 6 months by charging them the $60 plus your cost of materials. Since it's electronic, there really isn't much But I will tell you, I searched the internet and I seen one district charging $100 for a Speechcraft workshop. Just to let you know. Therefore, but you cannot exceed a 12-month membership fee. You can't overcharge them. So this protocol 8.2 gives you that right to charge them. And that's how you can increase your membership. And it is under the policy of, let's see here, is this it? Right. And this is to show you that it must be done at the club level in organizing activities. This is by protocol 5.0. It must be done at the club level. And then for the, where am I? Fundraising. All right. And then the 4.0 is the intellectual policy. And that tells you about what you can and cannot do with material. So your Speechcraft bundle is really under a lot of legal stuff because Toastmasters, this is a money-making thing for them. And once they went digital, they want you to do it digitally. You can hold your sessions in person or you can do them via Zoom. I hold mine via Zoom is what I did. So that's how you go about buying the bundle. Now, at this point, I'm going to stop sharing and to see if there's any questions about the purchasing of the bundle and what it entails. Does anybody have any questions? If so, raise your hand and come off mute. Or hybrid, correct, hybrid. Yes, you can do that too. Yes, thank you, Cheryl. Any questions? Yes. Awa?
Yes, DTMN, one question. So if it says that I can charge a participant an amount that does not exceed a 1-year Toastmaster International dues, that would be then
120.
120, right? 120 is the yearly dues now.
Right.
So I can surpass that.
No, you cannot.
Okay, so 100 is okay then, in this case.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, and someone put a question in chat, is if participants pay a club fee, are they actually becoming a club member and encouraged to participate in club meetings? I'm going to get into that part of the club meeting. Yes, they can. Do you include the $20 new membership fee? That's up to the club. Yes, because they do have to purchase a path. But initially, you can charge that, but I wouldn't go into them purchasing a path. The focus of this is to give them the basics of Toastmasters public speaking skills, is the purpose of the Speechcraft workshop. I would introduce them into pathways once they completed the workshop. You include that $20 new membership fee and all that, but I would not have them choose or select a path at that point. What I would tell them is that is the discussion we will hold once you get through the Speechcraft workshop. You don't want them confused and working on both things because in actuality, what they are doing is they are working at level 1 and 2 of pathways. So no matter what path they choose in the Speechcraft workshop, the projects are for level 1 and 2. If they complete all 7 projects in the Speechcraft workshop, that will translate them to becoming a member at a level 2 elective. They'll come in at a higher level. They will have completed levels 1 and 2, basically, by coming into pathways at that point. And it's at that point that they're on a high that you can motivate them to get started or moving through their paths. So the club would get credit for a level 1 and 2 once they selected their path, and they could submit that. Toastmasters International will give them credit. So let's not put the cart before the horse, so to speak. That's down the road. Let's just concentrate on the workshop at this point. Any further questions about purchasing the bundle?
Yes, this is Anne Marie Givens. If if one person is purchasing several bundles for different people, I heard you said that then that person who's purchasing the bundle would be the coordinator? Am I?
Yes, but you could be purchasing it for the clubs. And then it's the club sponsoring. So if there's different clubs that will be sponsoring those particular Speechcraft workshops, then the sponsor would come from that club.
So if I'm purchasing it, for instance, for a division director, and that division director is doing it through her club, how does that work?
Be the coordinator through her club.
So that division director would be the coordinator, right?
Through her club,
Through
yes.
her club.
Right.
Okay. So with
Right.
every bundle that I would purchase, I would have to purchase it separately and give each person the code, correct?
That would be, yes, that would be the way to do that. It's not quite the letter of the law. They don't want the district running the Speechcrafts. They want the clubs to run them. So that particular division director would have to go to her club and say, we want to conduct the Speechcraft. And we want to conduct a Speechcraft. And I'm going to have Cheryl come in on this because she's an accredited speaker too, as well. So I want her to comment because everything is about integrity and ethics with Toastmasters, and we don't want to circumvent that. So these things are not supposed to be run from the district level, and we're not technically supposed to appoint Speechcraft coordinators. That's not what the idea is. So if the district director wants to run this, then she needs to go to her club and say, I want to coordinate a Speechcraft, and she puts out the money. She's going to get that back because she's going to charge the participants. She's going to charge the participants to be part of the Speechcraft. So she's not going to be out the money.
Okay, let
Cheryl?
me interject here, please. This is not directly from me. This is an incentive. This is an incentive rewards to be able to provide the bundles to each division director to hold a Speechcraft. So I just want to make sure that I know the right route that I'm going.
Yes, Cheryl?
So thank you. And thank you, Madam Director. And you're doing fabulous. I agree with everything that you've said. And by the way, I joined during a Speechcraft program 36 years ago. So if you're wondering if people join on these programs, the answer is yes. Do we stay because of joining the club? The answer is yes. So I'm a poster child for this. I love this. And it's interesting because other districts because I'm speaking on how to market. And that's what my angle is from my marketing background is how to market Speechcraft, including what's the promotions that's going out and who's your ideal audience and everything else. I'm with you, Anne, that it could be convoluted. It could also be a breach of our protocols and policies if we go higher than the club level. This has all kinds of warning, Will Robinson, warning, danger. This has all kinds of potential to it. So we do want to keep it at the club level for a lot of different reasons. One, because it's mandated. Second, because this is how that member learns leadership skills to help them earn their distinguished Toastmaster. We should not deprive them of that opportunity at all. And the other question, Anne, that I'm getting from districts is, well, because the district wants to have a Speechcraft incentive where the district will pay for those. And Madam Director, you're asking very similar question here, is to reimburse them. So reimbursement is different than if the district itself purchase the bundles and then goes to the club. I'd be real careful about that. The whole purpose of Speechcraft is to build the club and potentially use the Speechcraft series for 6 or 8 weeks to launch a new club. So if that's the case, then the district should not yet be involved. Personal opinion.
So in other words, then I need to turn it around. The division director through them club would purchase, and then they could apply for reimbursement.
Could, although the better path directly is to have the division director inspire the club to have who is their next member who's ready to earn their Distinguished Toastmaster, encourage them, but get the club to do it themselves is going to be the best route.
Then get reimbursed from the participants of the Speechcraft by charging that. You'll get reimbursed if you charge the 65 plus the 50. So that's $110. So you get reimbursed for the cost of the bundle, and then they become members for that 6-month period. That's the better route.
Could the club treasurer handle the finance of purchasing the bundle? You know, could it be done through a credit card from the club, and that the individual still handles all the online in the portal? Would that be even better? So it's linked to the club, that payment?
Yeah. Yeah, you can do it that way too.
Thank you for the clarification.
Does that help you, Madam District Director?
Yes, ma'am. I will reword some statements. Thank you.
This is probably the fuzziest part of all of this, is who can do what, who pays for it, how can it be? I think, Anne, that this is the fuzziest part of all of this.
It really is. It really is. And it's yeah, so we have to be careful that we stay on the straight and narrow. And I'll get into Diana. Yes. They have to, do they have to join the club? No, they don't have to join the club before the Speechcraft. Most people finish the Speechcraft and then join a club. That's the ideal situation. You want them to concentrate on the workshop. That's the most important thing. Let's not forget that right now. You're only charging them to become members because that helps boost your membership. But in the same token, the Speechcraft is only 6 to 8 weeks. And then they can complete their other projects and pathways once they complete the Speechcraft. Let's keep the focus on the Speechcraft and not worry about the club at this point. That's what the Speechcraft is for. And the benefit comes to the club afterwards. That's what we should do. Just focus on the Speechcraft at this point. All right.
So, yeah, let me ask you a question. I am a member of a club. I want to do a Speechcraft so it can help me complete my DTM. So should the participant write their check out to me or to the club or to, you know, who gets paid?
Ever pays. Okay, the club will get paid for the 45 or the $60. All right. You can have the club could get paid for everything and then have the club reimburse you for the purchase of the Speechcraft if you're purchasing it personally. The best way to handle it is to have the club pay for it, and then have the club pay for the Speechcraft, and then they can charge the fee and get reimbursed from the individual participants, if that's the way you're going. That would be the clearest path, the less convoluted, more straightforward, and easier to understand if it's just one transaction for the participant. They pay the club, period, for everything. That would be the best case scenario. Now, in case of a club that doesn't have, some clubs don't have bank accounts. They don't need them anymore because of meeting virtually. What are they paying for? Understood. So then in that case, you can have the check made to you for the full amount, and then turn the dues over to the club treasurer so that their dues are paid. But make it a one-on-one transaction. Don't cross the lines. Would you agree, Cheryl?
I do. And for TI policy, anytime that you can keep an individual from receiving direct funds, because it's
Best.
not, it's always best, because we can be audited, we can lose our 501c3 status. And I know of examples where this has happened, that individuals have been paid and it was, and the member went before the disciplinary committee and was ousted from membership globally forever. Michael, you have high clean, just
Right.
like, so it's interesting that some clubs do not have an account. So then handle that mindfully. Just be mindful about it, that you want to keep the funds in the club, however that is. And it might be Venmo. It might be that the speech crafter, which is what we call the Speechcraft participants, Venmo the club. And so again, the funds bypass an individual and still stay within the club treasury. Anne, is
Right.
that a good solution here too?
Yes.
Okay.
Venmo, Zelle, that is the best way, direct to the treasurer. You want to eliminate any ambiguity. That's it. You want a clear path. You don't want anything questioned. You want everything appears up on the up and up. And it's not because of us. It's because of who can look down and say, wait a minute, this doesn't look right. And so we had to promote that because, let's face it, not everybody in Toastmasters has the same integrity as all of us here right now. That is a possibility, and we have to admit that. Therefore, we want to keep everything above board. And if anybody's looking at it, it's like, no, this is seamless. This was okay. Nothing was done. I don't have to investigate anything. And that's the best way to proceed. So I've spent a lot of time on this and I have a lot more to cover. So I need to move on at this point. And I'm sure Cheryl's going to share her email. I'm going to ask her to share her email in the chat because I want you to go to her session next week because she's going to be talking about marketing, which is on Monday. But also, if you have any questions, feel free to ask her or me. I want to do that. So for that, I've covered that. And I've discussed who can pay. And now we're going to go, we've covered a lot, really. And then I'm going to go into planning the sessions. What I want to tell you ahead of time is it's going to seem like a lot of time, but give yourself at least 2 months before to set your date, to set your sessions up. Now, why is that? There's a lot of planning that goes into this. Number one, you have a lot of learning to do once you have access to the Speechcraft portal. And I'll get into that, but there's a lot of learning that you need to do. You need to prep for your sessions. You need to have the resources for each session. But the most critical part in all of your planning is your participants for the Speechcraft sessions. There is an educational presentation done for every session. The first session, they recommend that you do 2. You need seasoned Toastmasters to present the educational sessions. You need to recruit your volunteers. You need guides, Speechcraft guides, what they are, and it's a one-on-one relationship. They are mentors. So you need 5 seasoned Toastmasters to be mentors for each of your guides. You need to solicit them. Excuse me a minute. I have to do a vote. For my district. I'm sorry. Give me a second here. Okay. Okay, done. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. I have to vote for how they're going to do their contest. Excuse me for that. All right, so coordinators, you are responsible. Think of it as if you're a teacher and you're planning the curriculum for your 6 months. All right. Who comes to Speechcraft? Sometimes it's people that are preparing, they have to do a toast. God forbid they have to deliver an eulogy, or someone who wants to brush up on their public speaking skills. What gets them in to be Toastmasters is their experience in the Speechcraft. And you want to make it the best possible Speechcraft for the Speechcrafters. You need guides, as I was saying, they act as mentors. So there's 5, so you have to recruit them. You need to set up your schedule. You have to let them know your schedule to make sure that they can make it. So you have to determine whether you're going to do a 4-week, a 6-week, or an 8-week. I recommend the 8-week. And I did it every other week. You have to decide whether it's going to be a 1-hour or a 2-hour session. I did it in a 2-hour session. There are some clubs that do the Speechcraft within their club meeting. It's not something I recommend because you take away from your membership in doing their speeches. You want to keep the focus on the Speechcrafters. When you integrate it with your meeting, the focus is taken away from them. Their learning experience is diminished. You want to focus on the session itself with the Speechcrafters, hold it outside your club meetings, and I recommend 2 hours. You have 5 Speechcrafters that have to deliver speeches. Now, the speeches aren't as long as the normal, but still, every Speechcrafter is supposed to be given an opportunity to speak at the meeting. Their icebreakers are only 2 to 3 minutes. They're not the 4 to 6. Their regular speeches are 3 to 5, not 5 to 7. That's the recommendation. In my Speechcraft sessions, we made it 4 to 6 for the icebreaker and 5 to 7 for the regular. They were up for it to give them the full experience. They weren't dinged, so to speak, if they didn't do the full 5 to 7. They were encouraged to do it. But the other thing you need at your meetings are your table topic speakers, table topic master. For every session, you need a table topics master because they're supposed to learn how to speak off the cuff. The other thing you need is a general evaluator for each meeting. So you need to coordinate all these Toastmasters before you set. Now, I see Awa going like, oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Well, I got a shortcut to show you, all right? And I'm going to share what I did. Let me do this right now. And I'm going to share what I created. I created a spreadsheet. As you can see, I listed my sessions down here. Let me go up to the top. Well, they're all down at the bottom. All right, but I listed, I had a spreadsheet. And my columns were the volunteer name, if they were a guide, what session, what their meeting role was. All right, and then what I did, let me see if I can move this here. I created a role validation for my educational sessions and what they were and where the educational material came from, and I'm going to show you that. What I did was I shared this Excel spreadsheet directly as a link for the volunteers to come in and sign up themselves as to what role they wanted to fulfill. I had the session and the date and the meeting role, and it followed the same order. Educational presenter, you need an evaluator for the educational presenter. In Toastmasters, you never speak for free. As a matter of fact, I am being evaluated today because it can be applied to a future project. Toastmasters never speak for free. You always want to be evaluated. So you want the educational person who's presenting to be evaluated. You need evaluators for at least the first, maybe the second meeting for the Speechcrafters. So you need volunteers for that. And maybe they need an evaluation for the evaluator. So you may ask them if they want to be evaluated for that. You want to make sure your volunteers What's in it for them? We always talk about that in the audience. What's in it for you today? Learn how to be a speech crafter. What's in it for your volunteers? They can get credit for fulfilling these roles. That's what's important. And the one thing I added to my sessions was the OG counter role. I asked people to sign up to be the OG counter, not to ding them, but when we are made aware of how we don't use pauses and we use filler words, that makes us better speakers. And as seasoned Toastmasters, when you hear some of these speech crafters speak, you're going to want to turn your volume off. That's why we want to make it a full experience for them. We want them to know how many ahs and ums they're saying and let them know in the nice way. If you just take a breather, you can eliminate that. Because that's what Toastmasters teaches us to do, how to speak fluently so people want to listen to us. If I was full of ahs and ums today, you would be going nuts. You'd be like, would you just shut up? So, we don't want that for our speech crafters. We want them to speak. So we want to help them to grow. All right? That's what we need to do. This is how you organize it. This is how you get your volunteers. You set your schedule up, you select your dates, and then you tell them, these are the dates I have available. This is what I need. When you all have a circle of networks that you can reach to within your district, outside your district. I reached outside my district. I went to District 18 for Mary Ann Grady. She was one of my Speechcraft guys. I went to Sally Works, Annette Sally Works. She was another guide. She was from District 8. Reach outside your circle. Get your experienced Toastmasters to be your guides for your speech crafters, because within each session, there is a one-on-one that they have with their guides for about 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes you have to allot, so that they can discuss and mentor one-on-one. That's real important. I'm going to stop sharing. So does that spreadsheet help you with planning? Awa, are you okay now? You're not like, oh my God, is anybody still like this? Okay, I want to make sure everybody's okay. All righty. So that's real important in your planning. That's why I say give yourself 2 months. You have to give time to these people to get back to you. And you have to follow up with them. And you don't always get responses immediately, as you know. So keep following up with them. Guides, they don't get credit for mentoring. No. It's not a six month thing. No, they get to what's in it for them, the experience to mentor someone one-on-one. They could probably use it for one of the Pathways short-term mentor programs, like introduction to mentoring, that type of thing. They don't get to use it for, they might be able to use it for that. But they're real important because you meet with them too. You direct them on what they need to do. You are the person who filters the information to them. Let's see, it's 11 o'clock. Okay. We're only been an hour and I have 90 minutes. All right. All right. So I recommend everybody do the 8-week session. That's what gives the speech crafter the fullest. You can do a 4-week session, realize then you have to adjust your agenda. You're going to have to decide what topics you're going to cover, because you're not going to be able to cover all of the topics that are recommended. Now, how to market? I'm not the marketing person. In the bundle that they purchase, they give you some marketing tips. I recommend you attend Cheryl Rouse's Speechcraft Marketing webinar on Monday, September 11th. And she's going to share all her tips that she knows. I didn't have to market mine. They came to the district. So it was very easy for me to get the people I needed. Recruitment of volunteers. I talked about the evaluators, the functionaries, setting up your folders. That's what I'm going to share with you as well. I set up right within my Pathways project, a Speechcraft folder. Advanced Pathways projects, and I set up my Speechcraft project. I'm going to show you what I broke down is for each session, because there's different materials you need. Session 1, educational tip, the icebreaker activity, if you want to do that, the agenda. The speech crafters need to do a before assessment. So there's a lot to that. So you want to set up a folder on your computer called Speechcraft, and you want to set up a subfolder for each of your sessions so that you have your materials organized together for each session. Quick access to it. All right. Where do you get the educational materials for this? Called the Better Speaker Series. Let me get this, share this. The Better Speaker Series. It's on Toastmasters.org site. It's in the store, but I'm giving you a link directly to it. It's a digital download. And what it does, it provides all the material you need. Because how writing for a purpose, how to choose a topic, it's all the basics. Anybody here who's a seasoned Toastmasters, it's like the Competent Communicator Manual. That's what the Speechcraft is about. It's the basic speaking lessons of Toastmasters. And what you need this for is it provides an outline for the educational presenter. You also receive a speech outline on the portal, and I'm going to go to that in a minute. But it provides an outline of the type of material that you're supposed to cover for the educational purposes. So you are given the material, you just need to know where to find it. And this is your resource. Nobody tells you. I searched the internet and I went to people who offered Speechcraft training, and they never told me outright where I got the educational material for these sessions. I'm like, where am I going to get this material? Finally, someone said something and a key word, and I realized it's the Better Speaker Series. So you need that series to give as a handout to your educational presenters. Now I'm going to the Speechcraft Portal. And it's at this point that I'm going to play. As I said, this was pre-recorded, and then we'll stop for questions. So I'm going to play this and make sure I'm going to make sure you can hear this. I have the sound played right here. Is that it? Oh, where is it? I had it. Here it is. And I want to see a thumbs up if you can hear it. There are overview information that you can get. Can you hear it? Buying the bundle. Uh-oh. Oh, no, you can't do this to me. You cannot do this to me. Hold on. Hold on. Sorry for this. I had it set up. Technology, right? But you got to be prepared. Okay. Do this. Give me a minute. you can download that. You can up your first session. Hear it? Wow, that's a lot to cover. And now we are finally getting to the Speechcraft Portal. This is your login. But before you log in, you do have an opportunity to see what the Speechcraft is about. There are overview information that you can get without buying the bundle. I suggest you listen to this very important video that tells you about the Speechcraft experience and explains the portal and how it works. That's very important. Up here, if you click the overview, it will take you to overview. And it explains the overview. And for quick synopsis of Speechcraft content, here you go. It's going to take you to Toastmasters Speechcraft content, which I showed you can download from Toastmasters website, all at one shot from that resource page. Get all your information from resource so you're not spending extra time downloading material. Here's the coordinator. Again, this will take you to the Toastmasters website to buy it. The coordinator quick start guide and the participant quick start guide. I already told you to get that information from the store, so you're ahead of the game. This is an important webinar that you would have to watch. It's about 61 minutes long. But when you click on that, you have to register. You have to register and since I've already done it and I'm in my Speechcraft, it shows you when the date and time that I registered to watch that webinar. And therefore you would have to fill this form out to be able to watch that webinar. Did I lose my space? Okay, I'm doing the same thing. Toastmasters International. Okay, there we go. Then it tells you who would be interested in attending. And this is important to know, and this is going to help you decide how many sessions you're going to have. Let's suppose you want to do a Speechcraft webinar for your corporate executives, separate from your club. They don't have the time for an 8-week course. You will more likely do a 4-session course, a 4-week course. And you could work with them on picking out the topics that you want to cover. And then you would concentrate on the 4 most important topics with them. So this is going to determine your session. If it's someone that wants to become a Toastmaster or wants even more knowledge, then your 8 sessions going to be more the type of session that you would hold. But if it's someone that just wants an introduction to public speaking, you could hold the 4 session. Now I'm going to go back up here and I'm going to log in because I want to share with you I think that's my password. Let's give it a minute to sign in. The site can be slow at times, I will tell you that. Let's see, it's going to let me sign in. Takes about a minute. Let me pause my recording till it signs in. Ah, there we go. Where'd it go? You must decide what you're going to. I don't know why that came up. Okay, so it's going to take you to coordinator guide and it's going to give you the coordinator overview. And then it's going to outline for you how to quick start your preparation before the event is created, things I have gone over. And this is stuff you should have covered before you even come in to create your event. And I've covered that already. So we're going to go to create a new event. And this is real important. You must decide what you're going to name your event. Because once you name it, you cannot change the name of the event. You can change the beginning date if you do it 1 to 2 weeks before, and you can change the end date. You can extend it if you do it 1 to 2 weeks before the end date. But once you name your event, that's the one thing you can't change. So be careful of your spelling and everything else, that it's spelled correctly. I tend to have a capital letter in the middle of mine. I'll show you what I mean. You don't need to put the club's URL if they have a free toast host or whatever. You don't need to know that. But this is why I want to emphasize that when you make the purchase, save that bundle order number. That is really important. You cannot activate your Speechcraft workshop without that bundle order number. So once you get confirmation and they give you a bundle order number, save that in a safe spot. Create yourself a Speechcraft Portal or a Speechcraft folder on your computer and save it there, because you can't access the portal without it. And then they will ask you to verify your coordinator information here. And then you have to enter in the event details. See here, event name. It's really important that you name it what you want to call it. Mine was the Orally Speechcraft. Name it for your company if you want, or if it's for a special event. Speechcraft interviews, or interviews, Speechcraft for interviews, or whatever. You don't have to pick your date at this time. But if you are, you would click on this and provide the date and the time zone. But to get started, you don't have to pick your date yet, but you have to name it to be able, and you have to agree to the terms and condition. And once you hit that and submit it, then it will take you to your event page. And this is what I'm telling you about spelling, you see? I want to interrupt for a second. If you've seen below, forgot to cover that. There was a section, they want to know what you are charging the Speechcrafters. Did you see that? On the bottom, let me go back. You see that? They want to know what you're going to charge the Speechcrafter. Order number, verify. All right, so you have to know what you're going to charge when you're filling out your event with the name and everything. They want to know what you're charging. It's really important that you name it what you want to call it. Mine was the Orally Speechcraft. Name it for your company if you want, or if it's for a special event. Provide attendee price. Interviews, or interviews, Speechcraft for interviews, or whatever. You don't have to pick your date at this time. But if you are, you would click on this and provide the date and the time zone. But to get started, you don't have to pick your date yet, but you have to name it to be able, and you have to agree to the terms and condition. And once you hit that and submit it, then it will take you to your event page. And this is what I'm telling you about spelling. You see? See how my Speechcraft is? It's all in caps except for the S. You want to make sure. Then you will have to add your participants. And once this comes up, you'll see where you can add. Since I've already started mine and I have the participants, I really can't show you. This would be empty. It would tell you to add the person. You have to add them by name and email address. All right, and they will be added. You have to make sure they register for the event, because they will receive an email notice saying that they've been added. And they have to click on that link and register for the event to become a participant. And this will let you know if they've been registered or not. So there's some follow-up in the beginning as well. Then once you set that all up, it'll say, go to my Speechcraft Learning. And it's going to take to your Speechcraft portal in Basecamp. And it's going to look quite similar to what Pathways is. What I did was I've always clicked on the learning. You want a shortcut, when you click learning, what is here, these tabs are also in the learning tab. It says introduction, start here. That is for the coordinators to start here. And it's going to take you to a video of the Speechcraft Coordinator. And it's going to take you to a video. The important thing to know is they're all slides or it's a video. This is a slide. It says start project, and you'll go through each of these. And if you click on this, it'll jump you to the introduction. What's important to know is every time you view a slide, there are resources over here in the upper right-hand corner. Do you see that? Download those resources and save them to your Speechcraft folder. You will need them for a reference later. You will find that helpful. I'm going to end this, and to exit out of the tabs that you are in each of the Speechcraft portals is you just do that and it'll bring you back. It's going to bring you back to your Pass and Learning page, similar to the Basecamp portal. This is for you, how to get started. Open the curriculum. This is your Speechcraft Coordinator's introduction and your Speechcraft Coordinator planning. You need to launch that. You have some learning to do before you even conduct the Speechcraft. That's why I said you need 3 to 4 weeks before you do your Speechcraft so that you can learn what you need to do to conduct the Speechcraft. It's the same thing as your Basecamp Pass and Learning page. If you open up in Basecamp in Pathways, if you open up all the resources, when you go to the resource page for the evaluation forms and you come to your Pass and Learning, you'll see it here with all your projects. Don't worry about having to mark it complete or not. It's just showing that you had activated it and if you want to mark it complete. So that's how to get started. Then, for each session, you have a guide as to what to present at that session. They guide you. And you launch that. And that is another slide presentation. And I'll hit restart. And again, Coordinator's Guide, Session 1, choose a topic. That's what your objective is. Choose a topic. Teaching them how to choose a topic to write a speech. Talks about your first session, and these are the 3 objectives. It walks you through the steps. You want to introduce the Speechcraft program. You want to develop speech topic selection skills and impromptu speaking. That's where table topics is introduced. And on this slide, on these here, it shows you and it tells you what you need to do with the table topics. Again, I'm not going through that, but here's your resources for session 1. As you see, they have a session 1 8 agenda, a session 1 6 agenda, and a session 1 agenda for 4 sessions. It gives you an outline and it's easy to follow. I recommend downloading all of them. They even have a blank template. This Speechcraft self-assessment before, what is that? Before the Speechcrafters can begin, they have a self-assessment that they need to do, and they do it online. What they're advising you to do here is to download it and print it as a PDF and be able to share it with the Speechcrafters in case someone has problem technically with accessing it on the Speechcraft portal. So that's the before. Now, remember I talked about educational presentations. Well, here's the outline for that presentation. As you see in session 1, there are 2. In each session, they will give you an outline for the educational presentation that needs to be given. Select a speech topic presentation outline and the value of improving public speaking. You give that to your 2 educational presenters. It gives them a guideline as to what Toastmasters is looking for the presenter to provide the speech crafters, what information. And then you go to the Better Speaker series and see what type of information they offer you for that. And then you formulate your presentation based on your research of the resources. And that's how any good presenter puts together the material for a presentation. And that's how it is done, because in Toastmasters, what is this? Let me go this. Better Speak Universal. Okay, so let me move this. So that's, and you would have to go through each of these. I recommend in the beginning, if you have the time, download all 8 sessions. Take the time to go through the sessions and know what you need to know. If you don't, at least download the first 3 to begin with, go through those lessons and learn what you need to know, and then work ahead until you have all of them. You need to be prepared for each session ahead of you. And then you have videos as a Speechcraft. Getting started on Basecamp as a Speechcraft coordinator, it walks you through the step on how to work the Basecamp here in Speechcraft. And it gives you an overview. It's a video. You have written information, and then you have a video that explains everything. So far, so good, because that is a lot of information. Now, similar to Pathways as the Basecamp manager, you will notice this is the same setup. You have a View Teams here. If you go to the Paths and Learning and Pathways Basecamp, it brings you to this page. When you hit View Teams, it lets you see, the same as in Pathways, when you can see each member, you can click on each person and see if they've done the work that they're supposed to. The same as Pathways. It only shows what's active. Since my Speechcraft work sessions have been completed in May, to show you what I'm talking about, I have to go to the completed drop-down menu. And you want to click on coordinator tracking. Now this will tell you completed. If they didn't do their self-assessment, it will tell you that it needs to be activated, just like in Pathways. If they opened it and viewed it, this will say launch, and this will say in progress. The coordinator tracking, that's where you want to go. And then it'll say speech tracking, and you want to view details. And this will tell you whether or not they've come into their own Basecamp and did the necessary steps to mark that they've completed a speech project. It's a little bit different than in Pathways. Sometimes you don't know whether a member completed it or not because they may have done a speech at another club or something like that. But in this case, they're going to do their speeches in your Speechcraft sessions, so you will know. And you want to make sure that you tell them that after they give their speech, they must come into their Basecamp portal and mark the project complete. You need to come here and verify that they did that. And once you do that, log out of the Basecamp portal, just like you would in Pathways, on this cogwheel or the setting symbol, and hit log out. It's not going to log you out of the portal, it's just going to log you out of Basecamp for them. And I may have gone an extra step that I didn't have to. You may have been able to go back to learning, I'm not sure. But this is the one important step as the speech crafter coordinator you must do. You must validate their speeches were completed, because that is the way Toastmasters International is going to know that they've completed their projects. And this is the screen you're going to get. Just put in the date of your meeting and the completion time. And then what you need to do is to search an existing training. And then you'll get this pop-up over here on the right. Let's say they did their icebreaker. All you have to do is type in icebreaker. You have to type in the topic that was covered for their speech. And you see, you get an automatic pop-up and you hit material. Then the screen changes and it says Speechcraft Icebreaker and the date's there. But now you have to add the attendees. So you have to hit next. And they're going to tell you to add the attendees. And you add the attendees there. And everyone, all 5 of your speech crafters will show up. And you just hit select. I think there's a select all, but I don't see it. Right. There might be a select all. All right. And then what you would do, you would hit save. And once you hit save, the new screen's going to show you this. And you can do a bulk record. If you select all, you can do a bulk record and it will record everyone as having completed that. The next screen will come up and you will have to mark that they completed it. So if you hit bulk score, then the next screen will come up and then you mark record. If I deselect all, and let's say I just select the first one and I hit record, this is the result. This is what you're going to have to mark. And I don't score, I just say that they completed. So that's the screen you would see. It's real important that you validate each speech that they completed. Otherwise, they will not get credit from Toastmasters organization when they go to join another club. That's the way TI knows that they completed it. And down at the, all right, so that's that. Let's go back to learning. Session 8 overview. All right, we're going to have to go back to home. Your dashboard. I showed how you can check individually if they've done their homework or the lessons. What I was concerned about in the beginning is the Speechcraft assessment. And I could tell whether they did their before assessment before we met. It's important that they complete the before assessment before your first meeting. It's only something they receive and you as the coordinator receive. And it's basically a survey asking them how they feel about their ability with public speaking. Then at your midway point of your session, they are to do another self-assessment. And this one, naturally, is supposed to say that they've improved. It reminds me of the self-assessments that we do in Pathways, before and after each of our projects. And we have to do the after, so that Pathways, so that Basecamp knows the project is done and we get a check mark. In this case, they don't have to do the after assessment to get the check mark. Because as you will see here, if I refresh the after assessment, I think there's 1 or 2 that didn't do the after assessment and their projects are marked complete. And it's the same thing as the dashboard in Pathways. That they completed all their speeches. You know. Okay. So we're going to go out of that and go home. There's something else I want to show you. All your session resources are here in one place too. If you don't want to, you can open your sessions here as well. If in the beginning you just want to download everything at once, it gives you all the resources here, all in one slot as well. And as you can see, the agendas are posted there. They give you multiple places in which to retrieve the information. Decide where you want to get it from and continue with that method, because otherwise it can get confusing. There's one other thing I want to show you, and it is in this, when you do the speech validation, I want to go to the learning. I want to go in here. I haven't gone in here yet, so that's why I want to show you. Again, all the sessions are here in the overview. I want to go to View Teams. Again, once you've completed your Speechcraft session, workshop, every member who participated, every participant receives a certificate for participating in the Speechcraft workshop. That doesn't mean that they had to complete every project. If they attended a workshop and completed 2, 3 speeches, even if they only completed 1, they get a certificate saying they were a Speechcraft participant. Speechcraft learning. And I want to go to complete it. Again, we're in the person's individual base camp portal. All the way down at the bottom. This is when you don't go to the coordinator tracking. You remain in the individual Speechcraft portal, as you can see, their learning, pass and learning page type of thing, and all the way down at the bottom, it'll say activate Speechcraft certificate. You activate it and you launch it. And then the Speechcrafter can get their certificate. They can download it themselves because it had been activated, and you activated it and you told Toastmasters International if they complete it. And all it says, it gives the person's name, recognition, became a certified Speechcrafter. Doesn't mean they completed everything. The other thing you can do with this is you can download it and do a presentation meeting with them and present them with their certificates to make it fun for them. So now we're going back to home. And I'm going to log out of their portal. And it's going to bring me back to my home page. And there's a frequently asked questions page here as well. I'm going to sign out of the portal. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Okay, that was a lot of information. I hope you took lots of notes. There is a ton of work for a Speechcraft coordinator. And It's a fun experience. Don't be deterred by the amount of work. It is worth every effort. You know, there's that filler word. Becoming a DTM means that you have reached the highest level for a Toastmaster. It's still only 1% of all the Toastmasters in the world, and there's a reason for it. Become a distinguished Toastmaster. There's a lot of work involved. There's a lot of enjoyment. And it's about giving back to those, paying it forward. You've learned a lot, and it's having fun doing it. It is well worth your effort. And what I did in my Speechcraft was I did certificates for my guides using Canva to show my appreciation. And I sent thank you notes, personalized thank you notes to each of my volunteers for their sessions, for the education presenters, and for the functionaries. I wanted them to know that I appreciated them because they are, in essence, supporting you. They want you to look good. And it's not about you, but they want you to look good, and they want the speech crafters, and they enjoy being a part of it because they learn so much. You'll need a nap this afternoon. I know I did. But it is well worth it. Cheryl, I want to give you an opportunity to promote yours and see if you have any closing comments. We're about 2 minutes out.
And you rocked this. It is so impressive, and all of the work, you broke it down, you made this doable. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is really, really well done. In the chat box, thank you. I did put the information for the District 65 event coming up on Monday. And when I went to snag the link, evidently the link had changed. So there is an updated link in there. I thank you very much for those of you who are interested on it. I'm not going to be covering what Anne has covered. I'm going to be covering how do you attract and recruit people for your Speechcraft series. And I would also consider renaming it because Speechcraft, and Dan Rex and I, our CEO, are good friends from nearly 30 years back. I was in the district trio coming in as district governor when he was hired at World Headquarters. And so our background is both marketing. And he's attended my sessions on it. And I said, correct me if I'm wrong on anything. And he says, no. And he actually gave my session his blessings on it, because my viewpoint is sell it as a communication skills series. Speechcraft is an in-house term. And again, think of who is going to be your ideal audience, your ideal participant for this, and then tailor it, make it relevant to them. That's the first thing, is who needs it? What are their issues? What are their challenges? And locate those people with common challenges and issues that they will be ideal for your participation. And the handout that I'll be doing on Monday is 5 pages with checklists and sample flyers of what goes where and why. So we'll be picking up with what Anne has done for the back end of this, and we'll be going to the front outreach. How do you approach, how do you attract people? And this has been amazing. I am so glad that I attended your session. And thank you, Madam District Director, for your vision of bringing in someone who is so savvy on both pathways as well as Speechcraft coordinating. Really well done. Really, really well done, Anne. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cheryl. And I put in the chat, the handout, which gives you all your resources. And please keep that in mind. Don't drive yourself nuts. Pick one place for your resources, because you'll waste a lot of time, and get your resources out. And I'm asking Madam District Director if she would, if she can forward me your emails so that I can do an after survey with you. And thank you so much, Cheryl, for all your wonderful comments. I'm so looking forward to your session on Monday. And I'd like to turn it back to our Madam District Director for any final comments she may have. Madam District Director.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anne Golden. Everybody, come on camera and give them a round. Give both Anne and Cheryl a round of applause. Wonderful, wonderful job. Thank you so much. I learned more than I ever did about Speechcraft. I needed much learning on this because I've always been scared of Speechcraft. I did it once, but I still did not have the full knowledge of it. So I appreciate you teaching me and teaching all of us, because this is what we're here for, to learn what we do not know or to enhance what we already know, so we can do much greater work to help others to receive what they need to receive. Thank you, everybody. And I thoroughly appreciate everybody that took out the time today to come to this training. With that said,
Thank you all.
anybody have any comments or any other question before I dismiss? Okay.
Hey, what, are you okay now? I hope I'm saying your name right.
Yes, yes, definitely. Thank you very much. It was very how you call it? Very
Interesting.
no, but it's very, I have more knowledge now. Yes.
Good.
Nice. Very nice.
That's what I wanted to do. All right.
Anybody
Thank you
else?
all.
Anybody else want to comment?
We leave as better people.
I guess I do have one question. I'm new to Toastmasters. I am the VP of, what is it, marketing and all that kind of stuff. So I know it kind of seemed like you were saying more seasoned people should really be coordinating this and sharing their knowledge, whereas I am still within my first 6 months of being in my Toastmasters. So is this something I should possibly get somebody else on board to try and coordinate, and then I help them and aid them? Or is this something you think the new VP,
VPPR.
there you go, the VP.
You want to do it? Go for it, because you're going to learn as you do it. No, I didn't know anything about being a Speechcraft coordinator. I just know that was my choice for what I wanted to do, for one of the options for my second DTM. I'm actually working on my second and third DTM parallel. Go for it. You're going to learn through the process, the knowledge you gain just by doing it. All this knowledge I gained by doing. It's not out there. It's not out there on the web. Presenters don't go into this detail. It's just another overview. I hate overviews. I need to know what I need to know. I want to know. I want a shortcut, not the shortcut so I don't have to do it, for efficiency. I learned, that's why I say, I went all over the place and and I'm like, wait a minute. I'm repeatedly looking for resources when I had the one place and I stuck with it. So I'm teaching you a shortcut that I didn't have. So go to one place for all your resources, save your time and energy so that you can learn the videos. And I tell you what I did. I can't share those slides with you, but you know those slides? I snipped every one of them and created my own slide presentation for reference. I can't share that for proprietary reasons, but I now have that for my reference, for referral. And I have that knowledge base, and I had it for when I was doing the sessions to help me prepare, so I didn't have to go out to the portal. We all know how the internet connections work, right? What if the site's down? Download, recreate that information and have it on your computer so you have it in case you need it. You need a backup. You seen, I had a backup. I had to, I self-recorded that. I can't play it from my computer. I have to go out to my OneDrive to record it. You need to be prepared for all situations. Get that information and put it on your computer so you have it just in case you can't access it on the web. That's so important. And you need to understand what the speech crafters themselves have to learn. So you need to look at that. You want to see it from their perspective so that you can explain to them. And one bit of advice, which I had very hard time following, don't hand feed them everything. Tell them where the link is to go get it. Let them do it themselves. That was so hard for me to do. I just wanted to give it to them. Then they get used to it and they don't go into the portal. They need to go out to the portal, just like your Toastmasters need to go into the Pathways portal, okay?
Okay, thank you. And somebody just asked how you save the chat. And I'm looking, they said to click over the
The three
little-
dots,
Huh?
In
The
the
three
very
dots?
bottom row, inside the chat box. So there's a little happy face for the emoji, and then click the three little dots. It says more, and that's how it'll click open to save chat. Because inside the chat, there are links. When Anne was giving the Better Speaker Series set, then I went to TI's site and put that link into the chat box for you so that you have that immediately. And I did give it to them.
Thank
no,
you, but
that's fine.
thank you,
That's
but I
fine.
clicked on the three dots and I don't see more at all.
But you
Okay,
just
so,
say, if you click on it, it'll just say chat,
or save chat.
save
Nope.
chat.
Nope.
All right, you might be using an old version of Zoom, so you definitely want to stay up to date. Zoom is coming out with updates nearly every few days. I'm a certified virtual presenter on Zoom, so you want to stay up to date on this.
That's good to know. Oh, I'm
Okay.
writing that
Oh.
down.
So save
Okay.
chat, save chat.
I see. Save chat. There you go.
Mhm.
I was on the
There you
wrong
go.
tree. I was on the wrong tree button. Thank you so
Ah,
much.
there
for
you
that.
go. You're welcome.
Awesome. Well, with that, thank you. Thank you, everybody. It's a wonderful day. Have a blessed day. God bless each one of you. Take care.
See you Monday, Cheryl.
You got it. Thank you, Ann. I'll be calling on you in my session. Okay, we're good. Thank you, Madam
Bye-bye.
Director. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye.
Thank you, Madam Director, for hosting this. I truly appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're very welcome. Sarab? Sarab,
Yeah, I am
you
ready.
there? Can I talk
Yes,
to you
yes,
a
I'm
sec?
here.